Hey gang, what's going on? Dan here. Time for another playing card deck review. We've got something from Jackson Robinson and his brainchild company, King's Wild Project. This is the Excelsior deck. There's three different versions of this. Near as I could tell, it's the three different versions. They're all pretty much the same. There's just different colorways in them and different back designs. I think one of them has a different ace. I looked at the three versions online, and I decided to go with the Excelsior version 2 or volume 2, however you want to say it, because I just like the colorway and the back design better. As I open these, I should also note, and take a look at, the camera doesn't really do it justice, but this box is sort of debossed, if you will. It has some nice texture to it. Nearest I could tell, some of the decks are printed by some companies, some are printed by others. And anybody that knows King's Wild Project a little better maybe can clarify. I did a deck review of a King's Wild deck, the 6'5" deck, and my research led me to believe it was printed by EPCC, Expert Playing Card Company. I understand that some decks are printed by USPCC, the United States Playing Card Company. This was published by, or printed by, an unknown printer. Again, near as I could tell. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Perhaps a company out of China, I'm not 100% sure. But it was an unknown company, as I was told. So, I don't know. We'll go through these here. We got two identical jokers, save for the color. One red joker, one black joker. I say black, but the background is actually like a bluish color on these. I have not always liked every joker that King's Wild Project has put out. That's a pretty cool one. I like the gesture with the sort of goofy looking instrument and the lute there. Some nice detail on the gesture. We have a really cool ace of spades with some scroll work design in the center, designed by Jackson Robinson. Again, the owner, the creator of King's Wild. King's Wild Project is his brainchild company, Excelsior. All of the cards in this deck are completely custom, including the spot cards. Everything just sort of has a different font. There's a very sort of tall, thin font on our numbers there. And all of the pips, I mean, you could tell it's a spade, obviously, but just looks a little bit different. And I'm just gonna tear through these so that we could take a closer look at our court cards. Jack of spades, really nicely done there. And I like these because, you know, you can tell that's a king of spades. I mean, you could play cards with this deck and not be confused that this is, you know, confuse this for something else, like you could on some other decks potentially. But at the same time, it's not the standard king of spades. It's a little bit different. There's some new art here. It's been reimagined, and I love that Jackson Robinson brings that re-imaging to a deck of cards and puts his own spin on it while not compromising the core of what the deck is supposed to be. Jack of hearts. I like the long staff there, held by the queen. That's really cool. Instead of like on the King of Hearts there, we have a sword and a sword. The staff spans from hand to hand. So it's the symmetry in the Queen of Spades is tied together by one item. And that's kind of a cool take. There's the king with the chalice in one hand and the sword behind the head, the quote-unquote suicide king there, as it's known, in the other hand. I find the clubs particularly attractive in a King's Wild deck. I think those are very nicely done. Jack of clubs, spear in one hand, skull in the other. That's great artwork. I love that. That is a great Jack of clubs. That might be the best card in the deck. Love that. Queen of clubs. Very ornate. The flower is nice. The king. And finally, our diamonds to wrap things up. Jack of diamonds with the spears. Queen with the flower and the doves. And our king of diamonds. Looks like a dagger in one hand, axe in the other. King's Wild Project logo card. And a double backer. Great deck all the way through. Excelsior 2 by King's Wild Project. I will say that from a personal preference, just my particular style of art, there's some King's Wild decks I really like, and some of them to me are just a miss. But I think that's just in general how things are going to go. You're not going to like every single thing that everybody does, and that's just the way it goes. But the stuff that I do like from King's Wild Project, I really, really like. And I really, really like this deck. Excelsior 2 by Jackson Robinson and King's Wild Project. That's been Dan with another deck review.